Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another effective episode here at Perfect English Podcast. My name is Sarah. I am so happy you are here with me today. Every time you join me, you are making progress in your English journey, and I am proud of you. Learning a new language is not always easy, but step by step, practice by practice, you are getting stronger, more confident, and more natural. So first of all, take a moment to thank yourself for listening and for giving time to your English practice today. In this episode, we are going to talk about a very exciting topic: how to prepare your brain to think in English. Many English learners around the world have the same question. They often say, "I always think in my own language first, and then I translate into English. Why can't I think directly in English?" If you also feel like this, don't worry. You are not alone. It is very normal. In fact, almost every learner experiences this at the beginning. Our brains are used to working in our first language, so of course they want to translate everything. But here is the good news. Your brain can learn new habits. With practice and the right steps, you can train your brain to think in English naturally without translation. Thinking in English is a skill, and just like every skill, it needs time and daily practice. But I want you to remember one very important thing. It is possible for you. Yes, you can do it. Sometimes learners believe that only very advanced students can think in English, but that is not true. Even at an intermediate or beginner level, you can start building this ability. Every time you use English, even with small words or short phrases, your brain is learning. With repetition, your brain slowly starts to understand, "Oh, I don't need to translate anymore. I can just think directly in English." So today I invite you to listen carefully, relax, and enjoy the process. Don't feel stressed, don't feel pressure. This podcast is your safe space to practice, to learn, and to grow. By the end of our episode, you will have a clear idea of how you can prepare your brain step by step, and you will feel more confident that yes, you can think in English too. Now, let's talk about why it is so important to learn how to think in English. You might be asking yourself, why do I need to think in English? Isn't it enough to just learn grammar, vocabulary, and practice speaking? Those things are, of course, very important, but the truth is, if you want to speak more naturally, understand more easily, and feel more confident, then training your brain to think in English will make a big difference in your journey. One of the biggest benefits is speed. When you think in your own language and then translate into English, you lose a lot of time. Imagine you are in a conversation and someone asks you a simple question like, "What did you eat for breakfast?" First, your brain makes the answer in your language, then it translates it into English, and only then you speak. By that time, the conversation has already moved forward, but when you think directly in English, the answer comes out immediately. You hear the question, your brain responds in English, and your words flow naturally. This makes conversations smoother and faster, and you feel less stressed about keeping up. Another reason why thinking in English is so important is that it helps you listen better. Many learners feel that listening is very hard because they are trying to translate every single word into their own language. But if you train yourself to think in English, your brain will stop focusing on translation and start focusing on meaning. You will begin to understand the main idea, the feeling, the message of what people are saying, instead of getting stuck on each word. This makes listening much more enjoyable and less tiring, because your brain is working in one language instead of two. Confidence is another powerful benefit. When you use English only as a second step after translation, it can feel like something foreign, something that does not truly belong to you. But when you train your mind to think in English, the language becomes your own tool, your own voice. You start to feel that English belongs to you, not just to your teacher, not just to native speakers, but to you as well. That feeling is very motivating because it gives you the courage to speak more, to practice more, and to trust yourself more. Finally, thinking in English helps you enjoy the process of learning. Instead of constantly worrying about grammar rules or translations, you can start to play with the language. You can describe what you see around you, you can tell yourself little stories in your head, and you can connect directly with English in daily life. It becomes more natural, like a friend that is always with you, instead of a subject you only study in a classroom. So, as you can see, the benefits are powerful: faster speaking, easier listening, stronger confidence, and more enjoyment in your learning journey. All of these reasons show us why it is so important to make the effort to train your brain to think in English. And the best part is, this is not only for advanced learners, it is for you right now, wherever you are on your path. Step by step, you can build this skill, and it will open many doors for your communication and your confidence in English. Now that we understand why thinking in English is so important, let's talk about how you can actually prepare your brain to do it. Remember, this is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. Just like learning to ride a bicycle, play an instrument, or cook a new recipe, it takes practice, patience, and repetition. The good news is, you can start today with very small steps. These steps may look simple, but they are very powerful because they slowly change the way your brain works with English. The first step is to start small with words and short phrases, instead of trying to build long, complicated sentences right away. Many learners make the mistake of forcing themselves to think in full sentences from the beginning, but that only creates stress and frustration. Instead, begin with simple vocabulary. For example, if you see a chair in your room, just think in your mind, chair. If you are eating an apple, tell yourself, apple. If you see the sun outside, say silently in your mind, sun. These little moments of labeling objects in English help your brain connect the word directly with the thing, without translation. With time, your mind will stop thinking, apple means this word in my language, and instead it will just see the apple and think, apple. This is how you start training your brain to connect directly with English. The second step is to bring English into your daily routines. Daily routines are perfect because they happen again and again every single day. This makes them excellent practice opportunities. For example, when you wake up and brush your teeth, say to yourself, I am brushing my teeth. When you wash your face, say, I am washing my face. When you make coffee or tea, say, I am making tea. These small sentences become habits, and soon your brain will start to produce them automatically. The more you practice this, the more natural it will feel, and slowly, English will become part of your everyday life. Another helpful step is to speak to yourself in English. Don't wait for a teacher or a partner. You can be your own practice partner. You can do this by whispering softly or even just speaking silently in your head. For example, before you cook, you can think, I will make rice now. After rice, I will clean the table. Or when you plan your day, you can say, today I will study for 1 hour. After that, I will go for a walk. Talking to yourself like this may feel strange at first, but it is one of the most effective ways to practice thinking directly in English. It builds fluency inside your mind before you even open your mouth. The next step is to surround yourself with English as much as possible. Your brain learns faster when it is surrounded by the sounds, words, and rhythm of a language. This doesn't mean you need to study all day. Even small amounts of exposure help. Listen to a short podcast while walking. Watch a simple English video before bed. Play an English song while cooking. At first, you might not understand everything, but your brain is still learning. Little by little, the sounds of English will feel more natural, and your brain will start to think in the same patterns you hear every day. Of course, while doing all of this, it is very important not to worry about mistakes. Many learners stop themselves from thinking in English because they are afraid of making errors. But remember, mistakes are not your enemy, they are your teacher. Thinking in English is not about being perfect, it is about building the habit. When you practice, your brain doesn't need perfect grammar or perfect vocabulary. It just needs repetition. Even if your sentences are not perfect, your brain is still learning to use English directly, and over time, your grammar and vocabulary will naturally improve. Finally, try practicing some quick thinking exercises. These are short, fun activities that you can do anytime, anywhere. For example, look around your room and describe what you see in English. This is my bed. The window is open. The floor is clean. Or ask yourself a question like, what am I doing now? And answer in English, I am listening to a podcast. I am practicing English. You can even count in English while climbing stairs, or describe the people you see on the street. These small exercises keep your brain active in English and train it to respond quickly. So, step by step, you can prepare your brain to think in English. Start small with words. Use daily routines. Talk to yourself. Surround yourself with English. Accept mistakes as part of learning, and practice quick exercises. Each step may feel small, but together, they create a powerful system that will change the way your brain connects to the language. Over time, you will notice that you don't translate as much, your words come faster, and English feels more natural in your mind. This is how you move from studying English to truly living in English. Now, my friends, let's talk about your motivation and mindset. This part is very important because even if you know all the steps, you need the right attitude to keep going. Thinking in English is not something that happens in one day or even 1 week. It is a process, and like every process, it takes time. But here is the beautiful truth. Every single day you practice, it becomes a little bit easier. At first, it might feel slow, strange, or even uncomfortable, but slowly your brain gets used to it, and what once felt hard will begin to feel natural. I want you to remember this. Your brain is like a muscle. Just like you exercise your arms or legs to make them stronger, you also need to exercise your brain to make your English stronger. If you go to the gym one time, your muscles do not change. But if you go every day, even for a short time, you start to see results. The same thing happens with English. If you practice thinking in English for 5 minutes each day, your brain will grow stronger and faster, and after some weeks or months, you will notice big changes. The key is daily practice. Many learners think they need 1 or 2 hours every day, but that is not true. Even 5 minutes can make a big difference if you do it regularly. For example, when you wake up, try to describe your morning in English for just a few minutes. Or when you walk outside, name the things you see in English. These short daily exercises are like little drops of water. One drop looks small, but if drops fall every day, soon you will have a full glass. That is exactly how learning English works. Small steps create big progress over time. Another important part of your mindset is patience and kindness to yourself. Don't get angry if you forget a word or if you make a mistake. Don't compare yourself to other learners. Everyone has their own journey, and your journey is moving forward as long as you keep practicing. If you stay positive and remind yourself that mistakes are part of learning, you will feel less pressure and more joy. Remember, children make many mistakes when they learn their first language, but they don't stop. They keep trying, and soon they become fluent. You can do the same with English. So every day tell yourself, I am training my brain. I am getting stronger. I am building the habit of thinking in English. With this positive mindset, you will enjoy the process more, and you will feel motivated to continue even on days when you feel tired. And slowly, without even noticing, you will realize that you are no longer translating so much. Your words are coming faster, and English feels like a natural part of your daily life. Now, my friends, let's take a moment to review everything we talked about today, because remembering the key steps will help you put them into practice in your daily life. We started with the idea that thinking in English is not something magical or impossible. It is simply a skill, and like every skill, it can be learned step by step with patience and practice. The first step is starting small with words and short phrases. You don't need to create big, complex sentences in your head right away. Just begin with naming things around you: chair, apple, door, sky. These small words may feel simple, but they are powerful because they train your brain to connect English directly to objects and actions without translation. The second step is using your daily routines as practice. Think about all the things you do every single day: brushing your teeth, washing your face, making tea, walking outside. These are perfect opportunities to think and speak in English. For example, I am brushing my teeth. I am washing my face. Daily habits create language habits, and soon your brain will start to use these sentences automatically. The third step is speaking to yourself in English. You don't need a partner all the time. You can practice on your own. Talk to yourself quietly or even in your mind. Describe your plans, your feelings, or your actions. When you do this, you are building fluency inside your brain, preparing your thoughts in English before you ever speak them out loud. The fourth step is surrounding yourself with English as much as possible. Listen to short podcasts, watch simple videos, or play music in English. Even if you don't understand everything, your brain is absorbing the rhythm, sounds, and patterns of the language. The more you hear English, the more natural it becomes. The fifth step is to accept mistakes. Don't be afraid of them, and don't let them stop you. Thinking in English is not about perfection, it is about building a habit. Every mistake is a sign that you are learning and trying. And finally, the sixth step is to practice quick thinking exercises. Describe what you see. Ask yourself questions like, what am I doing now? And answer in English. Count numbers, describe people on the street, or talk about your surroundings. These small exercises keep your brain active and train it to respond quickly in English. So remember, your brain can learn to think in English step by step. Start small, practice daily, talk to yourself, surround yourself with English, accept mistakes, and try quick exercises. If you follow these steps with patience and consistency, you will see real progress, and soon English will become not just a subject you study, but a natural part of your everyday thoughts. My dear friends, we have reached the end of today's episode, and before we say goodbye, I want to thank you warmly for spending this time with me. You made a wonderful choice today by listening and practicing your English. Every time you show up here, you are giving energy and attention to your learning, and that is something you should feel proud of. Many people only dream about improving their English, but you are actually taking action, and that action is what will lead you to success. So take a moment and give yourself credit. You are moving forward. Today we talked about how to prepare your brain to think in English, and we explored why this skill is so important for your fluency, your confidence, and your enjoyment of the language. We also walked through clear, practical steps that you can start using right away, beginning small with words, practicing during your daily routines, speaking to yourself, surrounding yourself with English, accepting mistakes, and trying quick thinking exercises. Each of these steps is like a small seed, and if you water these seeds every day with practice, they will grow into strong habits. With time, these habits will make English feel more natural in your mind, and you will notice real progress in the way you speak and understand. As you go back to your daily life after this episode, I want you to carry one important message with you. Every small step in English is a big step forward. Don't underestimate the power of 5 minutes of practice or the strength of a single sentence repeated again and again. Language learning is not about doing everything perfectly in one day. It is about showing up, practicing a little bit every day, and trusting the process. I hope you will come back and join me again in the next episode, because together we will keep building your skills and your confidence. Each time you listen, you are adding another layer of practice, and little by little, your brain is learning to live in English. So thank you again, my friends, for practicing with me today. Keep practicing, keep thinking in English, and keep believing in yourself. You are doing amazing work, and I am excited to see your progress continue. I will see you again in the next episode. Goodbye for now.